We believe we are free. We are not. The cage is invisible. Its bars are crafted from our own complacency. Our silence fuels the engine of our oppression. Governments crave control. This is not a conspiracy. It is a truth whispered throughout history. We cling to the illusion of choice while our options dwindle. Every day, the walls inch closer. We mistake comfort for freedom, security for liberty. But true freedom demands vigilance. It demands resistance. Our apathy is their greatest weapon. Our fear, their greatest ally. Wake up. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Control thrives in chaos. It feasts on fear. Governments understand this. They sow discord among us. They nurture our anxieties. They pit us against each other. Urban decay is not an accident. It is a strategy. Crime, poverty, and despair are tools of manipulation. They break our spirits. They erode our trust in each other. Dependency is another weapon in their arsenal. Welfare programs, while seemingly benevolent, breed reliance. They strip away our self-sufficiency. They make us beholden to the very systems that oppress us. The media is not our friend. It is a weaponized tool. It shapes our perceptions. It molds our thoughts. It dictates what we see and hear. Most importantly, it tells us what to think. Dissent is silenced, buried beneath a barrage of distractions. Celebrity scandals, political theater, endless cycles of manufactured outrage. We are fed a steady diet of fear and anxiety. Real issues are ignored. Real questions go unanswered. The truth is out there, but it is fragmented, suppressed, and distorted. We must learn to see through the lies. We must seek out alternative sources of information. We must become critical thinkers, questioning everything we see and hear. A disarmed populace is a controllable populace. Throughout history, those in power have always known this. By taking away the means of self-defense, they ensure that the people remain submissive and compliant. The act of disarming is not just about removing weapons. It's about removing the very spirit of resistance and independence. This is not up for debate. The narrative is carefully crafted to make us believe that there is no other way. We are told that questioning this is not only futile, but dangerous. It is a fundamental truth understood by every tyrant throughout history. From ancient despots to modern dictators, the strategy remains the same. Control the means of defense, and you control the people. This tactic has been employed time and again, with devastating effectiveness. When we relinquish our right to self-defense, we surrender our power. It's not just about the physical act of handing over a weapon. It's about giving up our autonomy, our ability to stand up for ourselves and our loved ones. We are told that gun control will keep us safe. Politicians and media outlets bombard us with messages that stricter laws will lead to a safer society. But is that really the case? But safety is an illusion. The promise of safety is a comforting lie, a mirage that disappears when we look closer. True safety comes from empowerment, not from surrender. A comforting lie whispered by those who seek to control us. They tell us what we want to hear, all the while tightening their grip on our freedoms. The illusion of safety is a powerful tool of control. They promise security while stripping away our ability to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities. Divide and conquer. This age-old strategy is used to keep us weak and divided, ensuring that we cannot unite against the true source of our oppression. This is the oldest trick in the book. The tactics of division and control are as old as civilization itself. By keeping us focused on our differences, they distract us from the real issues at hand. We are pitted against each other along lines of race, religion, and political ideology. These divisions are manufactured and amplified to keep us from seeing the bigger picture. We are told to fear our neighbors, to distrust those who are different from us. This fear is cultivated to keep us isolated and suspicious, making it easier to control us. This is how they control us. By fostering fear and division, they ensure that we remain distracted and disempowered. The more we fear each other, the less we focus on those who truly hold the power. By turning us against each other, unity is our greatest strength, and by eroding it, they weaken us. It's time to see through the illusion and reclaim our power. Section 5. Masonic Sorcery Theater. Spectacles of fear and control. Look closer. What you perceive as random acts of violence are anything but. They are meticulously staged events, designed to instill fear and justify control. These events dominate the news cycle. They become the sole focus of our collective attention. We are bombarded with images of carnage and chaos. Our primal instincts kick in. We crave security, order, and protection. The puppet masters offer us a solution. Surrender more freedom, relinquish more power, and trust in their authority. They present themselves as saviors, but they are shepherds leading us to the slaughter. Section 6. Concentration camps. Real and symbolic prisons of the mind. The very mention of concentration camps evokes a visceral reaction, a deep-seated horror that transcends time. The specter of concentration camps looms large in our collective memory. These places of unimaginable suffering and cruelty serve as a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity. A chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity. They are etched into our history, a testament to the atrocities that can occur when humanity loses its way. But what if these camps were not merely a relic of the past? What if the principles that governed them are still very much alive today? What if they were a blueprint for the future? A future where control and segregation are normalized under different guises. Today, we see the emergence of similar structures, detention centers for immigrants. These facilities, often hidden from public view, are stark reminders of how easily society can slip back into old patterns. Quarantine zones for the sick. These areas, while necessary for public health, can also become symbols of fear and isolation. These are not merely physical spaces. They represent a deeper, more insidious form of imprisonment. They are symbols of a mindset that seeks to categorize and control, a mindset that views dissent as a disease, a threat to the established order that must be contained at all costs, a mindset that seeks to control and compartmentalize those deemed undesirable or dangerous. Surveillance becomes a tool of oppression, and public spaces turn into arenas of control. The concentration camp is not just a place. It is an idea that can manifest in various forms, adapting to the times and circumstances. And that idea is alive and well. It lurks in the shadows of our society, waiting for the right moment to re-emerge. It is up to us to remain vigilant, to recognize these symbols for what they are, and to ensure that history does not repeat itself. Section 7. Eugenics and cults. The sinister laboratories of control. In the dark corners of history, we find unsettling examples of how power can be wielded to manipulate and control human lives. History is replete with examples of governments experimenting on their own citizens. From the infamous Tuskegee syphilis study to the secretive MK-Ultra mind control experiments, the quest for control has often led to ethical boundaries being crossed. The eugenics movement sought to control the human gene pool through forced sterilization and selective breeding. This pseudo-scientific endeavor aimed to create a better human race by eliminating those deemed unfit. Cults prey on the vulnerable, using manipulation and mind control to create obedient followers. These groups often promise salvation or enlightenment, but their true aim is to dominate and exploit. These may seem like disparate examples, but they share a common thread: the desire to control human behavior. Whether through scientific manipulation or psychological coercion, the end goal remains the same: to mold thoughts, beliefs, and actions to fit a predetermined agenda. The methods may vary, but the underlying intent is to shape individuals to conform to a specific vision or ideology. These experiments continue today, albeit in more subtle and insidious forms. Social engineering, mass surveillance, data collection. In the digital age, the tools of control have evolved, becoming more sophisticated and pervasive. We are being studied, analyzed, and manipulated in ways we are only beginning to understand. Every click, every like, every online interaction is a data point in a vast network of surveillance. The sinister laboratories of control have not disappeared. They have merely adapted to the times. Section 8. The unblinking eye of history. History whispers a warning. It tells a tale of empires built on control and oppression. It shows us the consequences of unchecked power. It reminds us that the human spirit, while resilient, is not invincible. The Roman Empire, the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, all crumbled under the weight of their own hubris. They mistook silence for consent. They underestimated the human thirst for freedom. We must not repeat the mistakes of the past. We must learn from the sacrifices of those who came before us. We must recognize the patterns of control and resist them at every turn. Section 9. Breaking the chains of propaganda. The first step towards liberation is awareness. We must learn to recognize the subtle and overt forms of propaganda that permeate our lives. Question everything. Challenge the narratives that are spoon-fed to us. Seek out alternative perspectives. Be wary of those who claim to have all the answers. We must reclaim our minds from the clutches of those who seek to control us. We must think for ourselves. We must question authority. We must be willing to stand up and speak out against injustice. Section 10. Our future hangs in the balance. The path ahead is fraught with peril. The forces of control are relentless, but we are not powerless. We have the power to choose a different future. We must come together. We must unite against this common enemy. We must resist the siren song of fear and division. Our future depends on it. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. We must fight for our freedom. We must fight for our future. We must fight for the very soul of humanity. The choice is ours.